So today we're talking about the top 8 newbie video mistakes made behind the camera. You're going to save yourself a lot of time and effort by just going through this simple checklist before you start recording a bunch of videos. It's going to make sure everything goes off without a hitch, because believe me, I've made all of these mistakes. I always like to say it's not a mistake if you learn something from it, and I learn something from every video that I create because it's an opportunity to see what I'm doing right and see what I want to improve, and I recommend that you do the same when you are recording your videos for your business. What do I mean? Check to make sure that everything is in proper working order. It is so frustrating when you get to the end of recording your video and you realize, hey, the camera wasn't working properly, or there's a glitch or an error or something somewhere along the line. Whether it's with your audio equipment or your video equipment, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you test everything and it's working the way that it's supposed to be working before you start recording a bunch of videos, because I've been there, done that. And also have backup batteries. You don't want your battery to die in the middle of a recording. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing for great video, and if you're in the middle of, or if you're ready to go, you got your hair done, you got your makeup done, you got your outfit on, you got your scripts prepared, all the things, and then you go to your camera and you're like, that battery's dead. Then you have to wait for it to charge if you don't have a backup. It's so annoying, so frustrating. Don't do that. Well, what does that mean? So if you're using a camera that requires cards like this, or you have, or you're using your cell phone, you want to make sure that there's enough space available so that you aren't reaching the max level and, shutting down whatever it is that you're recording on. So if you're shooting on your iPhone and you've used up all of your memory on your iPhone, you won't be able to continue to record all the videos that you want. Same thing with external cards that you put into your video camera, whether it's a DSLR or a point and shoot or a handy cam, whatever the case may be. First of all, you want to make sure you have multiple cards that have enough space and memory on them so you're able to record not just one video, but maybe you want to batch them all together and record 10 videos. Psst, I recommend batching. So you want to make sure you check the card before you start recording, make sure it is wiped clean, or that there's enough room on there that you're going to be able to record everything that you want to record. Nothing is more annoying than recording a whole bunch of videos and the whole thing is like slightly askew. You can fix it in post-production, but I highly recommend, and I always advocate, to be recording the best possible videos that you can so you don't have to fix a lot of things in post-production. So yes, it's an easy fix in post-production. You just kind of, but why do that when you can just take a few minutes before you start recording to make sure that the tripod is actually level? So if this tripod wasn't level right now, it would look something like this or like this. And like, that's weird and it doesn't look right. And it's going to be just a super quick thing that you can just adjust really quickly before you start recording a bunch of stuff so that you don't have to worry about it in post-production. So you want to make sure there's no dust or anything that's on the lens that's going to be creating an issue. If you have your lens on autofocus and there's a smudge or a piece of dust, what's going to happen is it's going to confuse the lens. And the lens is not going to know whether it should be focusing on that smudge, fingerprint, piece of dust, or whatever, and it's going to keep going back and forth and back and forth. And when you get your video, after you just sat there and poured your heart out into your video, you're going to be like, oh my God. It's like all messed up. Super easy thing to do. Just get the proper lens cloth and make sure that the lens is clean. And when you're handling your lenses, make sure that you're not like putting your fingerprints all over them. Treat them as though they are solid pieces of gold that should be handled like clouds, because they should. Check your focus. I made a whole video about how do I check my focus when I'm the only one around. If you are the only one in the room, I have a little hack, and what I do is I bring in my laundry hamper and I sit it in my chair because it's tall and it's wide enough to represent kind of like the human body, and I focus on that because I do use manual focus. I don't use autofocus. And then I pop that out, pop myself in, and hopefully I'm in focus. If not, then I'm sad. I'm sad because I have to re-record the video. So you always want to make sure that it's in focus. So once I do that, I go back real quick. I do a quick test. I push play. I watch the playback. I check again to make sure I'm in focus, and then I continue recording. What do I mean by this? I mean, make sure everything that is your supporting actor in your background is in the frame. Everything that's poking in is there for a reason. Nothing should be poking in that shouldn't be there. Like, I know that's there. This is my Interfit softbox light. You know, my background lends itself to my brand, and everything behind me is set there for a reason. So I recommend you check your frame, all four corners, before you begin. You watch a playback and you go, oh, okay, is that, so maybe I can just tilt this a little like this, and it completely changes the look of the video. Or I can do this and take that out. Whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that it's whatever's in there is done on purpose. I do use the rule of thirds. Personally, for me, I usually, you'll always see me on one side or the other, and there's this other thing called lead room. So if I'm on this side, I want my, you know, my face to be kind of angled this way, not this way, because my lead room is here. Mic check, play it back. Can you hear it? How does it sound? Make sure that all of your audio equipment has fresh batteries so that your batteries on your audio equipment is not dying in the middle of your take, and you're like, mic check, yeah, it works, and then you're like, womp womp. You don't want that to happen. So make sure you do a sound check prior to recording your videos. Bonus is number 9. Every camera is a little bit different. If you're shooting from a DSLR, a Handycam, your iPhone, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you know how to use some of the manual functions. And one of those manual functions could be setting a manual white balance, and or with a lot of DSLRs, there's a menu you can kind of scroll through to determine which is the appropriate white balance for you, and that will help your white stay white and not have you looking like an Oompa Loompa, or super cool, which would be more blue tones, or super warm, which would be more Oompa Loompa tone. Take two. More Oompa Loompa. Why can't I say this word? Tones, which are more orange and warm. So top 8 newbie mistakes made behind the video camera. Number 1, test your equipment. Number 2, check your batteries. Number 3, prepare your media. Number 4, level your tripod. Number 5, clean your lens. 6, check your focus. Number 7, check your frame. Number 8, do a sound check. And number 9, bonus, is check your white balance. Make sure that it's set at the appropriate auto function, or you do a custom white balance for your camera, which not every camera can do that. So it depends on what you own. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm just going to remind you that you are someone's reason to smile, so don't give up.